Join me in welcoming Robert Howard. Hey, Robert, so glad to have you here with us. Thanks so much for joining me. Your book is called Flush Away Your Fears. Totally hilarious book, but it's also got a lot of really, really great stuff in it. So, first off, though, tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Well, thanks, Steve, man. Thanks for having me on. But of course, I'm a entrepreneur. Um, my main gig is a real estate investor. We also have a rental car company, amongst three, four other ventures. But that's what we spend the most time doing. A father of now it will be five, so I have a new baby that'll be here in March, and she's mentioned in the book as well. But for the most part, you get to learn a little bit about my family throughout the book. So I kind of take an interesting perspective from the throne and just kind of throw in a couple life lessons with it.
Absolutely love it. So you got to tell us the catalyst moment. I mean, like obviously you were on the throne, and you had this brilliant idea. Tell me how that whole thing came together.
So it is the story. The real story is even funnier than that, because a lot of people don't know this, and I don't know how rated it is, but I'll tell you, I would actually have conversations on the phone while I'm on the throne at that time of morning too. I have various friends that I talk to, and that's the time of the day that we could kind of, because all of us have very busy lives, so that's the time that we can kind of carve out to even interrupt our day to talk to each other. So we're talking at between five, 6 in the morning, between two or three people. So, and we're having like real conversations, and it came to be that every time we're having like those think moments, those quiet times, because it has to be a time too when the house is quiet. And you can imagine having this many kids, it's like by the time you get some quiet time at night, you're talking, 10, 11 o'clock. But one thing they won't do, they won't get up early. So you can beat them to the punch then. Kids like to sleep in. So that gives me my little quiet time. And it started off with just a conversation with friends around that time. And so my wife caught wind of it, and she was like, "So what do? You just go in there, just think, like, and talk? Are you just trying to get away from everything?" I'm like, "No, that's my quiet time." I said, "And that's the time I have to think." And so she was like, "I'm not believing this." So it kept going like on, and she saw that it was a habit. Because keep in mind, I've only been married a couple years, so after she saw it as a habit, she's like, "No, you really do that." And she was like, "That's interesting. Maybe you should write about it." I was like, "Maybe I should." So. And every time too, when I come out of there, I'm always throwing something at her. Like whether it's something that's a very small idea or something that's massive that she's like, "Hey, you gonna do what?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "When you come up with that?" I'm like, "In there."
In the thinking room.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. So, flush away your fears, master the art of winning from the throne. Toilet wisdom for sales savants. What is in 20 years of sales? What is the biggest epiphany that you've had on the throne about your sales career?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was an epiphany, because by the time I started this thought process, we're talking maybe 2, 3 years ago. And by that time, I was already getting toward the end of my career. But when I'm in there and I'm going over ideas and all that stuff, because of course, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't scratch the surface on, and I'm going over ideas and all that stuff, and I'm coming back with stuff that really it didn't work out. I've tried a bunch of ideas, man, a bunch of businesses. But one thing when I'm there is like, okay, keep going. Okay, well, what's next? Well, what's next? It's always what's next? What's next? So sales prepared me for um, a bunch of failures, obviously, because in auto sales, that's the game I was in. It was always hearing a bunch of no's. So
How do you deal with the nose? I mean, what do you do to keep yourself humorous, which the book totally is, as well as going when you're in car sales where more people tell you no than do tell you yes. And even more than that, people tell you, oh, yeah, let me think about that and I'll get back to you.
yeah. I'm a huge optimist, but as much as I'm an optimist, the best way I prepare my brain is anything I go into, I go and say, okay, well, especially if I'm pitching an idea to somebody, it's like I assume that they're going to say no. So it's always being prepared to, overcome an objection and all this stuff. And really, I've learned in sales, there aren't real objections. You just got to get to the solution for them, because everybody has a problem. And the way businesses are even started is solving a problem. So you can solve the problem and you can get it justified and try to help people understand, like, the way you're thinking that you can solve their problem. It becomes rather easy. Then it just comes down to an execution factor, which we've been fortunate enough to be very good at executing.
I absolutely love that. So, of course, it's called Flush Away Your Fears. Can you think of one fear, or maybe the biggest fear, that you found yourself releasing while you were, in the room?
Um, I had a fear of going too big on things, because when the I guess the mantra would be, the bigger you are, then the harder you fall. So, if you play small and then you're like, well, I don't have that much to lose, so if this don't work out, like, I'll be okay. But during this thought process, I started to really open up everything, really open up my mind, really open up my business, and try to do everything on a massive level, and not be afraid of that. Because most people are like, when you go too big, or you're throwing all your eggs here and all this stuff, and you want this thing to get gigantic, if that balloon pops, then that's it. So I've gotten away from that fear.
I love that. So, what is the one thing that you really, I mean, there's so much good stuff in the book that I hate to even ask you. It'd be like asking you, which of your five kids is your favorite? While one
I
of
can
them
I
is in
can
the
actually
room.
tell you that one.
Maybe we won't broadcast that one
Yes.
live, though, on the air. But, I mean, what is your favorite part of the book?
um, my favorite part is when I get into the story telling part of it, because there are parts in there where I do, I talk about my kids, and what you'll learn is that we learn a lot more from them than they do from us. Because even talking about a 1 year old, as inquisitive as they are and as exploratory as they are, you just look at their little brains and they're just always going. And they are some of the most fearless characters you'll ever meet. Like my daughter, at not even a year old, wants to go up and down the steps, and she wants to run and do this and do that. And I mean, she just operates in no fear. And that makes it easier too. So you thinking a 1 year old can have that mindset, because think about it, they aren't even conditioned for fear at that time. But as we go further along, I talk about the fact that we develop these fears like out of nowhere. Like they had to come. So you think about a child, and when they're first coming up, that they don't have any fears, it's the way that we were meant to operate. It's the way we meant to operate. So we do. I did learn from her to kind of let it be a little bit exploratory, and that kind of helped with my book too, because that's right down the alley. Because when you're that age, then you haven't even learned fear yet. I mean, she literally like bang her head against stuff, like no pain. It's just it's crazy, and that was an aha moment too. Because sometimes adults, like we're sitting and we're just banging our head against the wall sometimes, but it gets done. And the way the way you get anything done is you keep going. And that's the part, and I tell people, and I've heard this a lot too, is that you don't lose until you quit. So as long as you're still going and going and going, then you'll always be in the game. You'll always be in the game. So until you call it quits, you don't lose.
That absolutely makes total sense. So, you spent a couple of months developing the book and stuff like that. And originally, when we talked, you weren't even sure if this is the book you want to put out. I'd love to hear what changed your mind. I mean, at what point did you decide, no, this is actually my first book, and this is the one that I want to put out?
Yeah, so the other book we were working on is a lot more personal, and it's a lot of it is about me and like personal experience and stuff I did to grow and like overcome. But when you talk about the flush away your fears, that's something that resonates with anybody, because you think about anything that you were going to get to, it all, or things that you stopped doing or you stopped for some reason or the other, if you had to deduce it to one single thing, it would probably be fear. And once you overcome that and you get the confidence, like you literally can do anything. So I felt that the people needed this book first. And I felt like it'll be more beneficial to a lot more people.
Well, it's an absolutely amazing book. I totally love it. Like you said, there's times when you're just cracking up at some of the stuff you're saying. Um, I mean, are you like this on a day-to-day basis, or is your wife just, kind of done with your humor and she just doesn't get it anymore?
Well, my kids know they know I got a bunch of dad jokes, and they really call me corny. And I tell them I'd much rather be corny than anything else. But yes, I'm cracking up like all the time. It's very, very seldom that anybody ever sees me without a smile on my face. And even my family knows me as kind of the jokester and not taking anything too seriously, especially not myself. So that's why, we did the cover and, had the awesome cover with the toilet on there and all that stuff. Like literally people could see me like sitting there. They're like, yeah, that does look pretty accurate. With a smile on my face, just going to town. I mean, there are times I would take my laptop in there and sometimes, man, I sit in there so long my legs go to sleep. I remember one time literally like standing up and just plopping, doing almost nearly a face plant because I couldn't feel my legs. But yeah, sometimes that thinking gets deep in there, man.
Gonna have to get you one of those rails like they have in the
Yes,
handicap stalls so that
yes,
you can
yes.
help yourself up.
And I talk about in the book too that I spend so much time in there that my wife was literally campaigning for a second toilet room in the next house. So I give you a spoiler alert. She got it.
I
So now
totally
we
love
have
it.
like separate, like side by side big toilet rooms where she has her side and all that stuff. She's like, "You're taking up too much time in the bathroom." I'm like, "Man, if you knew the work that goes on in here, like, what are you thinking?"
We wouldn't have any of the things we have, honey, if it wasn't for my time in
Tell
the
her, Steve.
room.
Tell her. Turn right.
I love it. So, I mean, of course, people want to get the book. Flush Away Your Fears is free today on Amazon, the ebook form of it. Um,
Absolutely.
Beyond that, what are some other kind of things that you can do to help people? I mean, do you do coaching, or I know you do the real estate investing in your area?
I do.
What other ways can people interact with you?
I do real estate investing, of course. I do one-on-one coaching. I do have mentorships, and along with that, I have something that's my bread and butter. Which the way I even started this game was wholesaling. A lot of people don't know what wholesaling is, but what that is you buy a house from a seller, you sell it to a buyer, and the profits in between is yours. So say you buy a house for 40, you sell it to somebody else for 50, and then you get that 10,000 in between. And that all can be done without a real estate license. A lot of people think you need money. You don't. You don't even use your own money to buy it. A lot of people think that you'll need a real estate license, and you don't. Not here in Alabama anyway. So I do have a course that teaches people how to do that. And that website is www.epicwholesaling.com. So they can find me there too.
Absolutely love that. Well, before I let you go, give us one word of insight that came from a recent Throne interview that you'd like to share with us to help us kind of up level our game in the world.
The same thing I tell everybody is take yourself all the way to the edge. And then instead of like leaning over looking, just jump.
I totally love that. Well, I hope everybody will get Flush Away Your Fears today. It is available on Amazon for free. The link is in the comments as well as in the description. And Robert, thanks so much for the fun book, but also thanks for being a guest here on the show with me today.
Absolutely, man. It's a ton of opportunity on the other side of fear. So just push past to the other side.
I love it. Thanks, Robert.
All right. Thank you, man.